Welcome to the Veterinary Marketing Podcast, where it's all about helping your veterinary practice attract, engage, and retain clients. Broadcasting a new podcast every Monday from sunny Southern California, here's your host, Brandon Bashirs.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to episode number 222 of the Veterinary Marketing Podcast. I hope you're having a wonderful day. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about some updates to reviews, some things that you should be thinking about, some different trends that are happening with reviews. And I think that in the future, reviews are going to have some pretty big changes happening to them. So this is going to be really good, I think, in terms of building out strategy for getting reviews for your practice, because they're going to be very important, and as they have been. But I think there's some really interesting trends that have happened with reviews, especially as a result of COVID. So as we get into this episode, if you have any questions, comments, or you need help with anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. The best place to go and reach out is on the Facebook group, The Veterinary Marketing Nerds. If you go to facebook.com/groups/The Veterinary Marketing Nerds, you can request to join. It's completely free. And again, if you have any questions or you need help, that's a great place to go. So let's talk about reviews. Reviews are really important for a few reasons. First of all, social proof is very, very important. With, I think especially as people move to online purchasing, Amazon has taken huge market share. And Amazon has always been, the major proponent and pusher of reviews. And I'm sure if you buy stuff on Amazon, you are always looking at reviews of product, and it goes into a big decision as far as when you search for products, which products you choose, because they are available with reviews there. So you kind of are choosing based on price and reviews and, all of that stuff, plus shipping and a bunch of other things. But looking at e-commerce behavior, it is very, very important to consider, because that is the driver of buying behavior when it comes to people making purchasing decisions. And I know that you're not selling a product or service. You're not selling a product or service directly online through an e-commerce website, but the way that people have been trained and the way that people experience online buying is really, really important to just duplicate those kind of buying patterns that happen already, because people are, again, trained to do that. So as we go through here and think about these things, about reviews specifically for your business, I think is really, really important to just always be considering that when you're buying stuff online, especially when you're buying stuff on Amazon, always be looking and seeing why you're buying things, how your buying behavior is going to be impacted by reviews or price or different things like that. I think anytime that you are buying something online, if you can approach that from I'm going to figure out and learn why I did that, because that's interesting to think about. Always be considering that. When I look at any kind of advertising or any kind of purchase behavior, especially with my wife or friends and family, I'll always try to figure out why they're buying what they're buying, because it's definitely going to be helpful in the marketing sense. But let's talk about this, though. So over the past year in 2020, and as I think as time goes on, this is only going to continue to get more and more. This trend will continue to improve. This trend will continue to increase, I'm sure, is that over time, more users are actually only leaving either a 1-star or a 5-star reviews. And there's fewer and fewer 2 to 3-star reviews. I would be interested to see if your practice has been experiencing this as well. But this is based on Yelp's platform. And, I know that a lot of people don't like Yelp. I don't like Yelp. I know that Yelp did a massive round of layoffs. And actually, it's my hope that Yelp probably goes out of business, just because I don't like their business practices. But in 2020, the 51% of all reviews were 5-star reviews, which is pretty amazing. And that the distribution of reviews is shrinking for 2-star, 3-star, and 4-star. So the way that it goes is the most common percentage of reviews are 5-star reviews. Then you have 4-star reviews. Then you have 1-star reviews. And based on what Yelp was saying that the 2-star and 3-star have really diminished. So it's interesting to see that. And I think that's probably just a result of you only have your either vocal fans or your biggest haters leaving reviews in general. And people that are like, it was an okay experience. That's not really very helpful because they're not going to leave a lukewarm review for you. So this, I think, has bigger impacts into reviews in general. Interesting, as there's a company called Bright Local. They had a survey of 1,000 users, and what is happening is people are saying that they don't trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations. And I think just in general, the internet is becoming more and more polarized, right? Where you have just people that are, either raving fans or massive trolls. That seems to be the only case, right? There's less and less middle area. I think people are going to really start to trust reviews less if it's just, both polarizing ends where you have people that are raving fans and people that are just unrealistic. And, I think one thing that I see, especially with reviews of products, and I mean, if you look at anything, like the favorite shows that I watch on Amazon, for example, there's a show that's called The Expanse, and the reviews were really mixed. There was people who loved it and people who hated it. And then you'd look at the reason why people hated it, and it was because it was released weekly instead of being able to binge the entire thing all at once, right? So, I think if you have reviews, be sure to do, best practices in responding to all of the positive and negative reviews. Well, at the same time, if you get a 1-star review and it just looks crazy, don't sweat it, because when people are going through and they're looking at the worst of the reviews, I think if they can actually see that the person is crazy, they're not going to count it against you. But I think that's really interesting that this survey that Bright Local did, where they say that they trust reviews less than personal recommendations, I think that's really important. So thinking about how we can personalize reviews more and make it less of a just mechanical, up to 5 stars thing. But if you get a good review from somebody, following up with that in the next time that they come in, that you start to get a personal recommendation from them. And what does that look like? What does that mean? Maybe asking them just to make a quick video for you. And so, saying, hey, I really appreciated that review. Do you think you'd be open to just answering a video question really quick? I could just videotape you, and we'd like to have these, local recommendations on our site. So it would mean a lot to us if we could. And if you did something like that and then just leave an open-ended question, and I used to do this all the time back when I used to do real estate and was a real estate agent and real estate broker back in the day, where you'd ask for recommendations and reviews, where you just say, can you tell us, why do you love working with our company? Or what does it look like when you bring your pet here? And if you just let them talk and you leave open-ended questions like that, you'll be amazed at how much good stuff that they say, especially if they've had a great interaction with you. And they would make up and say stuff that was, come up with stuff that was way better than even if you had decided that you're going to try and script something. If you tried to come up with the best thing you possibly could, if you leave an open-ended question for your, raving fans and the clients that love you, just be amazed at what they say for you. So I would really suggest start to think about, what are the ways that you can try to turn your trusted reviews and your best reviews into personal recommendations, and how can you use that social proof in a way that's more personal? Because I really do think that as time goes on, people are going to really want to see an actual person and see what they said and see what they look like. Are they somebody who's like me and somebody who cares about the things that I care about? So just a quick idea there. And then beyond that, interesting from Yelp, again, that they had an increase in reviews, and they're seeing an increase in fake reviews. So very interesting that their reviews had increased. The fake reviews increased from 7% of total reviews to 8% of total reviews. And so I think that this is across the board. People are buying fake reviews. I don't think you should ever try to buy fake reviews. That's a violation of terms of service. But it's really, really important to consider that fake reviews are on the rise. On top of that, fake reviews are also, by the way, by most platforms, considered reviews that are left by employees, business owners, or customers who are lying, vendors, and former employees. So that's something good to note, that those kind of things are not considered real reviews, and that they need to be not don't let people try to have reviews for your business if they're not actually clients and customers. So that's just a quick little thought there. Then beyond that, fewer reviews were left in 2020 compared to 2019, which is really interesting. Google said that they saw a drop in the overall number of reviews due to fewer people being out from COVID-19. So it's very interesting. And if you look at that, there's a clear drop in reviews left from Google. And it's just very interesting. COVID is changing the way that people are going out and interacting with businesses. And it's really, really interesting. I'll be interested to see as things really start to open up again, as people become immunized and get their vaccination. Are things going to go back, or are they going to stay the same with all of these changes that have happened and this new conditioning that people have, and probably a resistance to going out and just doing things like they used to, which is really, really interesting. So I think throughout 2021, we're really going to see probably either a big shift, or things are going to continue to go the exact same way, which are really the only two options for us moving forward. Now, I will say this, that if you can develop a system that is going to incentivize people to leave reviews as much as possible, I would say not only should you do pushes for reviews like, every once in a while, but it should be consistent. The number of reviews that you have, as well as the flow of reviews. So if you just all of a sudden got 100 reviews in one day and then didn't ever get reviews again, that would not be as effective from a ranking standpoint and things as if you were getting consistent reviews every single month. So with reviews, it's really, really important that you're getting reviews consistently and that they're coming in consistently. So some important things to think about there. And I think as much as possible, try to take reviews that are on these platforms and highlight them and create them into content that you actually get to own and that you are not relying on these platforms for. So, going through and exporting these reviews, putting them on your website, not just embedding them in your website, but actually putting them on your site and incorporating them and success stories into your marketing materials, whether it's your emails or things like that, because it's just really important that you try to own as many of these assets as possible instead of simply, letting Google or Facebook or Yelp control and own these things. So I think that is always important, and is only more so important as all of these platforms make major changes on a consistent basis. So, I would love to hear if you have any questions or comments about reviews, if you've seen a major either drop or increase in reviews over the past year. I know that veterinary practices have been really busy. My suspicion would be, too, that, you probably did see a lot more one-star reviews than you probably would typically, just because people are also, really stressed out. It seems like there's a big cognitive load of stress out there, which is causing people to act, a lot more irrationally and a lot more stressed and less patience and all of that stuff out there. So I would just say, be sure that you're aware of this. And I know how hard it is to take a look at one-star reviews and say, what the heck, take it personally. Try not to do that because ultimately it doesn't do any good. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that helps. And Please let me know if there's anything that I can do to help out. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you on next week's episode. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.